Greetings, Star Wars toy fans. This is Jim, and welcome back to my channel. Well, this is part 3 of the Tatooine Target exclusive retro set, and you can see in front of you 5 figures. Only one of them is actually from that retro set, which happens to be the Han Solo Stormtrooper. But in this series, I'm doing a comparison with some of the Kenner and other produced figures. So without further ado, let's take a look at the card. And you'll notice here that we've got this Han Solo still from the Star Wars movie. We've got our retro sticker. Name is in red. And up here is where they had a place for the helmet. And then the back is just what you've seen with the other ones if you've watched my previous 2 videos. Now, taking a look at the 5 figures. This happens to be the exclusive one that came with this box set. This is my childhood Stormtrooper. This is the Han Solo figure. This is the original Kenner Luke Skywalker from 1985, and that's my childhood Han Solo. Now, why do I have all these out? Well, let's do a quick comparison of the two. So, looking at the original Stormtrooper helmet, you're going to notice that it's a little bit wider, but it fits the body really, really well. And notice that he's coming with 2 weapons, and we'll talk about those in just a moment. It's awfully white compared to my childhood Stormtrooper, but my Stormtrooper is not quite as yellow as, say, the Luke there. Had I gotten this as a kid, I can guarantee you it would be this white, because all of my figures, none of them have yellowed that I played with in my childhood, because I kept them inside the case at all times. I put them away. The helmet, as you can see, is a reproduction, and you'll notice that it doesn't really fit all that well comparatively to, say, this one here. Almost looks kind of out of place. Now, I wish I had an original helmet. I don't know if they were like this. You can hear that kind of clinky sound to it. So I don't know if they were originally that way, but it's what it is. The gun happens to be original on this Luke Skywalker. Now, comparing the Han Solo figure, it looks very much the same as the vintage Kenner. And of course, the helmet would be identical. Now, he took the head that's very similar from the vintage Kenner, I believe. They look very, very close. And you'll notice that this one has a bent arm. And I think that might be why Hasbro used a bent arm on this Han Solo. Can't be certain. Now let's compare the heads here. And you'll see that the Han Solo happens to look a little bit different than the Hasbro version. The molding looks very similar. The Hasbro version stands a wee bit taller. Let's do a back-to-back, and you can see, yeah, definitely taller. And then, of course, we can compare it with the Kenner, and definitely taller. So Han Solo was more true to the height of the Han Solo. Now let's take a comparison with the Luke, and you can see that he's a little bit taller than Luke, but I think Harrison Ford was taller than Mark Hamill in the movie, so that's okay too. Now, comparing this with the original Kenner, you can see some very similarities there on the back. We have the 011 on the back, same with the Han Solo. The belt pack's a little bit larger there. Han Solo always puts SS on his, and then of course we have Hasbro, made in Vietnam. Looking at the bottom, you can see that we've got the peg holes, so you can put them in your Death Star if you so wish to do. And he can fully sit, as does the Han Solo version. Okay, now let's take a look at the weapons that he happens to have. He happens to hold the weapon quite well, the Imperial Blaster, not so well in the left hand. And then he has this unusual rifle. I don't know of any Star Wars figure that's got this type of rifle. It's fairly flexible plastic. Have to do a float test on it to see if it actually does float. But he does hold that blaster fairly well. Again, we put on the helmet, and you can tell it looks, you know, very, very similar. Now, the way I can tell my guns apart, because, I mean, otherwise you wouldn't be able to tell all that well, you'll notice that well, the mesh is very faded on that, so that's how I know that it's Luke's. And this is a much stiffer plastic, so this would be the Stan Solo. This is my vintage Kenner version, and there's little touches of silver that are in the handle because I painted all my guns silver and then stripped the silver paint when I became an adult. I painted them silver in case I lost them on the carpet, and then the light would reflect on it. Well, I hope you enjoyed this comparison video. Please give it a thumbs up if you did. Subscribe to the channel if you have not already. And I hope to see you, hope you see me on part 4 of this series. Take care.